Welcome to Comic Station, issue number 75, Big 75.
Yeah.
This is for June 4th, 2014, and we're going to get a little product tie-in here. So.
Yeah, exactly. As we look at, from DC Comics, Batman 66 Green Hornet crossover, brought to you by Kevin Smith, the man who single-handedly launched Dynamite's massive Green Hornet line that they have for some reason.
This is a perfect crossover.
Yeah, in many ways it is actually, much like the one from the actual show with Bruce Lee as Kato. It's a very good crossover issue. I mean, it feels very much like a Batman 66 story co-starring the Green Hornet, which you'd expect, considering the name value there. But it has everything you'd want from a Batman 66 comic. It has the same feel of the show. You can read all the characters' voices as the characters, and there's some very good action in it as well.
So, essentially, if you've been reading 66, you're going to want to pick this up, especially if you like Green Hornet. If you like Green Hornet, this may fall into your category.
Agreed there. It's keeping with the basic concept of the Green Hornet character as a criminal who pretends to be a criminal to fight the underworld, so that makes some interesting interplay between him and Batman, although this is keeping in continuity with the series, so Batman knows the Green Hornet is in fact a hero, as they've met before in this continuity.
Okay, well that's cool.
The villain is probably the most interesting part of it. He's a returning character again from the series named Colonel Gum, only here given a much harder update, who was a lot scarier, where originally he was just a very overblown German gentleman with a bad mustache. Here he's this hideous gum monster due to his own experiment gone wrong. It's probably the hardest thing I've seen in one of these, but it's actually quite the refresher.
Like a clay face made out of gum.
Yeah, except he can't shapeshift, he's just sort of sucked that way, like gum.
Oh. But that's a tie-in, because we have the Green Hornet, you got a little action figure. I mean, this is just KB Toys exclusive. Come
Captain
on.
Action Hero Series.
Ooh.
Yep.
So, that gives you an idea how old this thing is.
Yeah.
But we're not even going to take it out of the box, because this is a nice little
For those of you who
toy.
are fans of the big Seth Rogen
Don't call
movie.
it a toy, it's a collectible.
Yeah.
So, but you can see, like, it has fabric, it has these cool, really cool, actually, side pieces here.
Yeah, it has a lot of his gadgets, like his gas mask, his gas gun, his Kato communicator.
Yeah, so it's actually really cool. Actually, I like the accessories better than the figure itself.
The figure himself, he's a little bit scrunched in. The clothes are a bit too bulky. For a figure of this size.
Yeah, I'd say that's bulky is the right way to say on the clothes, but otherwise, it's a really cool collectible.
Yeah.
I don't want to anger some fans out there. But the next one we have for comic books is from Big Dog Inc. If people are familiar with Big Dog Inc., I really love their artwork, and this is no exception. This is Joan of Arc, and contrary to what some people may be believing, this is number 0 though.
Yep.
Contrary to what some people are believing, this isn't retelling her story. This is, she's already gone through her story. She spent 600 years in heaven.
Post-death.
Post-death, in heaven.
Spoilers there.
Wow. Read a history book, people. And she's basically been spending the time trying to emulate the angels and basically built herself into an angel. And it ties into the Penny for Your Soul from Big Dog Inc. And there was a crossover earlier in Penny for Your Soul War, and so this is picking up after that. And as a 0, it really does introduce her story, and where she comes in the storyline.
Now, is there anything vital that's shown in this issue that someone would have to read if they wanted to pick up number 1, you think?
Just really nice artwork.
Okay.
But story-wise, I don't think this is really essential. It does set up maybe a little bit more. Now, we'll have to see in number 1 if they do a little recap, but it does set up some of her motivation.
Gotcha.
For why she fashioned herself after an angel.
Sounds like a good issue 0.
Yeah, and if you ever seen, well, obviously, Indiana Jones with the warehouse, Lost Ark, she's now the protector of the warehouse.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah.
It really high level boils down to, but it's cool.
Next up, sort of the bad one of the list this week, is from Boom. It's Big Trouble in Little China number 1. Now, don't misinterpret. We both like Big Trouble in Little China.
Love that movie.
That's a good movie. This, however, is a sequel to it that's really bad. It takes the worst elements of the film and dials it up to 11.
And that's key, because when I first saw this, I thought, oh, cool, they're going to retell it in comic book. And this is a sequel. They didn't have Big Trouble in Little China's :something.
I feel like it could have deserved like a 2 or at least continuing adventures somewhere on the cover.
It needed a :something, because otherwise I thought they were going to retell the story, which I would have liked. But in this case,
it's a very it's a sequel that you can tell didn't need to happen because there wasn't much room for it. As a result, a lot of the plot points are scattershot, don't make a lot of sense, and rely far too heavily on randomosity as an element of imagination, when really it just comes off as forced and a little stupid overall.
Yeah, essentially they're trying to put it into getting into his mind. And while some books do a really good job of bringing you into the character's mind, unfortunately, there's not much in his. So it really just comes off stupid.
Yeah, like that. Like Big Trouble in Little China really isn't known for its deep character insights.
No, it's just awesome, man.
Yeah, and unfortunately, the attempts to copy the very creative and imaginative style of that come off flat here and far too forced, with elements that, like, it doesn't understand what made Big Trouble in Little China work, in my opinion, which is the clever pacing and work of it. It doesn't throw all of its insanity at you at once. It treats it easily and weaves you through it.
Yeah.
Where this just sort of piles it on like a big trash heap.
Yeah, basically. So save your time and go watch the movie.
Yeah. Which leads us to our last book of the week.
And this is from Oni Press. This is Princess Ugg.
Yep.
And right off the bat, it is Brave meets Thor meets just Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
And
with personally, I thought,
really
like,
liked it.
I thought there was also like a splash of both Wicked and Harry Potter in there as well.
I could see that. She
Like the way that it's the princess is going to, like...
It's a school.
Yeah, to a school. And, of course, you've got the two opposites on one side. You've got Princess Ugg, who's like the barbarian warrior princess, sort of like Merida by way of Thor.
Yes, very much Merida.
Yeah, and on the other side, you've got the more prim and proper princess.
Yep. Basically, Princess Ugg is, as you can guess, she's in a barbarian tribe, and...
I think they are Vikings in it, so they mention Odin by name.
Yes, they do mention Odin, although God versus... But Odin's in there.
Yeah.
And essentially it comes down to, through some issues in the past and the mother and all, she decides to go down to the lowlands, where they're all prim and proper and sunlight, and go to the school to get her some edumacation.
Yeah.
Basically, that's where the conflict's going to come in. She is a barbarian in a prim and proper school.
It feels a lot like Camelot fantasy meets Conan the Barbarian fantasy at school together, which is a really clever plot twist, which I think more people should use, actually.
Yes, and the only downside to this is some of the wording in it gets a little bogged down.
The character accents are spelled out phonetically in the dialogue, so you have to sound out some of the wording.
Yeah, so that's a really good tie-in to Braid, is getting this education, darn near widowed myself.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
I warn you, we could have done this whole thing with horrible Celtic accents.
We debated, but you know.
Yeah, we decided it was best to save you that.
Yeah, can't really do that to you guys.
Unless you wanted it, put a comment in if you did.
Oh, please don't want it. We would do it.
Yes. But again,
it's actually really good. Essentially, I really enjoyed it. And if I had a daughter that was in the teens, tweens, I would absolutely recommend this. But if you have a son, or if you're yourself, any age, I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a very good all ages comic. I'd recommend it for like anyone who wants to get, like, has younger kids, whatever, who want to get them more into comics, especially girls looking to get into comics and not just the stuff we make for girls. It's a good thing I'd recommend there.
She is an awesome character.
She has a great mashup of like Hit Girl and Arya Stark.
Yes, and I like the one scene where she's doing her accessorizing while the princess is doing her accessorizing. And her accessorizing is choosing which axe to get, and I like that.
My other favorite part of that is that they have technology that's based around the Flintstones approach, where like their showers are just a mammoth that sprays water on you.
I like that.
Yeah.
Call out. It was very nice. I want a mammoth.
I think that's it for us this week.
Yeah, I think that is enough. But this has been Comic Station issue number 75. Wow.
Yeah.
We're getting close to 100. We got to do something special for that.
Yeah, we do.
But thank you very much. As always, we will see you next week. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know. There were a lot out this week that we couldn't get to. Let us know which of the ones that we missed that you really enjoyed. Give us a little paragraph why you enjoyed it.
Or maybe even why you didn't like it.
Why you didn't like it. And maybe we'll read off your mini review. And as always, check out full reviews on frontdoorsgamer.com from Lito here.
Yep.
And we will see you next week. Bye.